So thank you to UK Theatre for inviting me to speak on one of the most important subjects of our time. Time is precious and key, so I'll just first introduce myself and the company that I lead. My name's Huxtable, and I'm a theatre director, and I have loved theatre for as long as I can remember. And I've travelled from training for the performing arts industry to leading one of the foremost national touring theatres in the UK. Over the last 30 years of my professional life, I've attempted to leave the industry twice. I was frustrated, isolated, and more than a little heartbroken and angry. And on both occasions, I was called back to my craft and the communities I serve. I'm very glad I stayed so that I could see and be part of this moment in our collective history. I am the new artist director and CEO of Eclipse Theatre Company, and I spent more time in this role in lockdown than in our offices in Leeds. Eclipse is a Black-led touring company, and I've also worked on screen, radio and TV, and enjoy meeting our audiences, both before and after our productions. Today, my colleagues have spoken magnificently about freelancers, organisations and disability. And all these subjects are connected to each other. To talk about race is to talk about our systems. It's not one or the other subject matter, it is all connected. And we must consider each element with race in mind, as my colleagues have done already. If we start with language and communication, which after all is often the way we traditionally work in UK theatre, the subject title is this is what I was given to discuss: Embedding Anti-Racism Action Within the Industry. The word embedding is welcome and about time. It's long overdue, and the industry has had countless opportunities to pay attention to the experiences and the impact of systemic racism. This is one further opportunity to take racism into account and make radical change. Last summer, I was invited to share a lightning talk at the 2019 UK Theatre SALT Symposium, and I spoke to my leadership peers who were made up of the ecology of theatre that Julian Bird referenced earlier. I shared then who I championed and was inspired by and kept me going, and what change making really meant. I shared the differences of experiences of change when it comes to race. And for those of us who face racism, those of us who are in fear of it, and those of us who are not paying attention. In the autumn of that same year, I was a judge of the UK's Most Welcoming Theatre Awards in 2019. And at the ceremony, I took the opportunity then to speak about what welcoming meant for our workforces, for our touring theatre companies and audiences. How are we using the social model of change? Working through the process of change with a common purpose for right now? And if not, why not? Because the bulk of the culture industry is white-led, and in the case of the Arts Council England National Portfolio, 92%, there may be an assumption that I am here to address white people only, and to share key points about how to be less racist, or to use my time to share my professional and personal journey through our industry as a Black female director in the UK. Anti-racism work is with us all to a degree. However, the bulk of this responsibility is with white people, as it's not the role of every Black person to educate or assist white people. Some of us have elected to do this work. I am interested in the dismantling of systemic racism and moving forward with this change. Policymakers and decision makers must now look to themselves and the clear evidence presented, both now and over the countless years, to work out their actions. Data gathered from the freelance report Routes to Recovery, Office for National Statistics, Creative Industries Federation, Arts Professional and Inc. Arts Research. Listing what we are trying to change would take a lifetime. And in fact, for some of us, it already has. However, I invite each of you to lift between you the constituencies you serve, the peers you work alongside, the boards you sit on, the organisations who lobby you, the very people we are now leaning to in order to know our entire nation more than we know now. And as the great late Dr. Maya Angelou said, to know better is to do better. Drama schools. Anti-racism practice must be embedded in drama schools for all to benefit, including Black and brown ethnically diverse actors. After the well-documented experiences of drama students, we have to question what environments are being created and by whom. We welcome an independent body to support the work of the curriculum, script content, and visiting lecturers, designers, lighting directors, writers, and boards and principals. Creating diverse teams and content is what we do. At Eclipse Theatre, Revolution Mix we've engaged world-class writers. Black Men Walking Testament, Princess and the Hustler, Chino Adimbe, The Gift by Janice Ocker, directed by a previous artist director, Dawn Morton. Eclipse created content and co-productions across the UK, leading to a consistent pathway to success, meeting our audiences. Encouraging audiences into the theatre buildings and spaces. Our Revolution tours have allowed us to meet directly with our audiences, with Eclipse creating the type of work that attracts a wide range of people. 22% of our audiences in our last tour were from Black, Asian and ethnically diverse backgrounds, a massive leap from the 2% that our data partners Indigo have observed elsewhere. Workforce, freelancers and leadership. At a time of crisis, our nation has taken the opportunity to re-examine who we are. We have already had some heartfelt losses in terms of COVID-19, alongside the economic impact we are all now facing. We must ensure we return with the understanding of anti-racism embedded in our practice, processes, and systems. The impact of not doing this work is an increase of the need for mental health support that's already been referred many times today, talent that leave this sector and develop elsewhere, and a nation that loses the chance to know itself better in order to do better. I followed the brief and, I can clearly share what the impact of COVID-19 has been directly from Eclipse. We submitted this for the DCMS, but I'm happy to repeat that here. The daily losses of significant theatres as Theatre Royal Plymouth have been a significant loss to ourselves as a touring company, and it's been a devastation. Announcements from the Royal Exchange Manchester at 65%, our neighbours across the way. It's heartbreaking. Freelancers and self-employed in dire need, and it means our hours are extended. We are beyond our actual hours, just trying to support and getting people out of the water is how we reference it here. We are a small but powerful team, but doing what we can from where we are. Just examining the emergency funds and going through that with freelancers who have less resources than we do. What has been the immediate impact of COVID-19 on the sector? Again, the financial losses we are well aware of, and for many of us relying on reserves because we have no we can't access the emergency funds. The government intervention that's worked for us has obviously been the job retention scheme, but we call for that to be extended, as my colleagues have as well. And when looking at what is needed from the government, the extension for sure, looking at the theatre tax relief, that would be a great relief if we could extend that and look to 50% for over 3 years. Wrapping up, because I know time is pressing, our key concern in terms of exiting the EU is we are a theatre company that we're leading with Creative Europe. And as we were leaping into the discovery and excitement of connecting with our Black-led partners in Amsterdam and Portugal, we are unfortunately facing the closure of the Creative Europe programme, which was announced in March. It's a great concern that as we move forward and getting to know each other better, that we are cutting and closing the barriers in order to do that, to connect Britain to be a better and stronger, more international, more centred, caring nation, would seem impossible with the barriers arriving at our gates. I'll close there because of time, and thank you for listening.